Yeah.
So we're going to reset, and you have until 45 seconds to speak. So name a person who you truly admire. Describe the person and say why you admire him or her. All right? We'll be
Okay.
taking notes. Ready, and begin.
I truly admire the person is my father because he is, I think, very perfect man I have ever seen, and he has all the solution, and whenever I need him, he always there for me. And though he is having some problem in his life, but he never showed that he has some problem, and he tried to solve all the problems, and he always inspire me. And is having the he is having some, sorry.
Okay, so it looks like we maybe ran out of content, or
Yeah,
what do you think happened there? What do you think made it so that you were having trouble?
I think I went deep in my thinking,
Mm-hmm.
so I could not speak properly
Okay.
because I wrote something, but I went out of that idea and I couldn't speak properly.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. I'm going to bring up a little notepad here.
Like, I forgot one word, which is like something I cannot match with my content, and I thought that this word will not be matched. That's why I got stuck and everything went.
Got it. Okay. So it seems like you maybe lost track of some of the finer points, right? The main points of your notes. Can you tell me what you had in your notes?
I wrote in my note like that a person's name, so I wrote it here, my father.
Okay.
Then he is perfect and he has the solution for everything. So three, like these two idea I wrote.
So perfect
Yeah,
and
perfect.
solution, right?
Yeah, solution.
Okay, good. Now this is a really good simple note structure, right? This is about what we want to be able to do. Now a couple of things here. Sometimes if we just write very simple one-word notes, it's good if we're able to take those one words, those single words, and then speak on those words in detail. However, if we just write one word and then we get a little bit lost because we don't have any other supporting details, that can be a problem. So in the future, when you go to do your notes, what you could do is say perfect and then give an example.
Okay.
Can you think of any examples, just right now, very quickly off the top of your head, any examples of how your father is perfect?
Okay.
Just to tell me right now. Can you think of any examples?
Just a minute. Okay, yeah. So like the person whom I admire most is my father, and I think he is perfect because he does all his work very perfectly. One day I know that I did some mistake and which should not be happened, but my father saw it and he did so perfectly that I understood that this should be done that way, and that is why and in all his work he tried to be very perfectionist. And the second reason is he has the solution of everything. For example, I can say that when I was in my 12th standard and I had some issues with my school, and he came to my school and he solved all the problems, and that is why I think that he has the solution of everything, and this thing of his admire me a lot. And
Okay.
that
Yeah, I'm going to stop you right there. So this is good. So this is a better way, I think, so that we don't get lost in some of our thoughts. If you can have a supporting detail in your notes. You
okay.
don't have to write a lot, but I do want you to go ahead and include some supporting details.
Okay.
All right? So if you write perfect, I need some sort of a detail, an example
Okay.
of that.
Okay.
If you write solution, I need some sort of an example. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow you to focus very specifically on something so that you don't kind of wander or get lost in your thoughts, which is a challenge with the speaking task, especially speaking task 1, because it's very open, right?
Yeah.
So in giving this answer, again, you would have your topic, a person that I admire is my father, and I feel this way for a couple of reasons. The first is that he's very perfect, or he's always perfect. An example of this is one time when he showed me how to do a certain type of work perfectly. He gave me an example, and it was just absolutely perfect. And then a second example of this is how he always has solutions to things. For example, one time in school when I had etc., etc. That way it gives you something very specific to focus on, and you don't get lost or you don't get distracted. Okay?
Okay.
Now there were a couple of grammatical issues that came up. First of all, I know I told you there's the strategy where we want to repeat the question, right?
Yeah.
So we didn't actually repeat the question, and what I want you to do is I want you to repeat the question verbatim. Do you know what
Okay.
verbatim means?
No.
So verbatim means to repeat, or copy something exactly. We say
Okay.
word for word. Okay, verbatim. It means an
Okay.
exact copy of something in word form. So if I say, let's see here, name a person whom you truly admire, we would say a person I admire is. Well, what happened was we mixed up the words, and I'd have to go back and listen to a recording to get the exact wording that you used, but you did mix up the words a little bit. I want you to really try and use the exact wording of the question in your answer, so that we don't have any sort of mixed up words. A person whom I admire is. Okay? And then we jump into it. Also, what I'm noticing is we're having some issues with verb noun agreement. Now, this is a challenging thing to fix in a short period of time in our speaking. It's easier in our writing because we can see it in front of us. But our speaking is something that's a habit. What I mean by verb-noun agreement is, for example, you said, he inspire me.
Okay, inspires me.
Exactly. And I know you know how to write this, and I know you know how to say it, but it's a habit as we speak, which is why I want you to go ahead and do a lot of those practice ones and send them to me. And then I will correct them, but there's something else I want you to do, which might help you, is I want you to listen to the recordings, and I want you to listen for some of these errors. There's a cool trick that we can do where we use our own tools of self-correction, where if I listen to myself making the mistakes, I'm more likely to correct the mistakes. I use this technique when I have students who use the word or or whatever type of word that exists in their language. A way to fix that is to have them listen to a recording of themselves and count how many times they say that or And in your case, I'll give you the grammatical errors that you're making. It'd be good if you listen to your recording and count how many times you make those mistakes. And then what'll happen is, as you're listening to yourself speak, you'll start to self-correct. The problem is that we have bad habits, right? So you speak English fluently. I, for example, the first language I learned after English was French. And in French they have gender. They have le and la for the. They have gender for pronouns. And I never paid attention to any of it. I would just use whatever I wanted to. And people understood me, but it was a really bad habit. And then when I went to college and I had to take actual classes in French, I had a really hard time. I had to self-correct and really force myself to break those habits. So what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and record your answers to some of those practice questions that I gave you. And I want you to send me the recordings, but then I also want you to listen to it and see if you can pick out some of the errors and record and write down what those errors are. Okay? I'll listen to your recordings, I'll do an analysis, and then we'll set up another appointment to kind of go over them and do some more practice. Okay?
Okay.
All right.